Okay, so two really easy things that you can do to organize your production schedule, like way easier, is number one, having just a simple Excel spreadsheet for your production planner. And then number two, using a job binder. So starting with the production planner, I've showed this one before. You can have a copy of this. Every time you book a job, you just slot it in for a specific crew. So you have all of your crews and then you slot in your job. So when you schedule the job, you just put it with a specific date, the amount and how many hours it is. And then you can schedule out way into the future and you can have multiple crews at once and you can assign different jobs to different crews. And I would color code them based on whether the job was movable, like the customer didn't care what date it was, whether there were some restrictions in terms of scheduling, or if it had to be done a specific day, then it was called very restricted. So as you book jobs, you just add them here. You put the amount, you put the hours, it'll automatically calculate your charge rate. And then expected production date. So about when do they want to get it done? And then has it been scheduled? And then you just schedule it in here as soon as you book the job. And then you can even use this as like a sales tool. So you bring out your iPad at the estimate and you show your clients your production schedule and say, look, we can actually fit you in. There's a small job we can fit you in at the end of next week because we got one day available. And they can see all the other jobs you have as kind of like a good sales tool that you can use. Would that be helpful for you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I will, I'll just send this to you and then you can go file, make a copy. I'll just send it to you
Nice.
on Slack. It's in the shared folder, but I'll just send it to you to make it easy. And then just make a
Thank you.
copy of it right here, file, make a copy, and then you'll have your own private version. And then there's even an app you can use on your phone, just called Google Sheets, and then you can open it up on your phone.
Okay.
And then the other, I don't have mine, mine's in the basement, but it's a production planner or a production binder. And basically get like a 2-inch binder or a 3-inch binder and fill it with plastic sleeves, just those blank plastic page protectors. As soon as you book a job, put everything about that job in that plastic folder, right? So you put the contract, you put the color samples, you put the receipts, you put, anything regarding that job in that plastic folder. And then you can even have 2 plastic folders for each job, one for you and one for the painters. So everything for you goes in one, everything for the painters goes in the other one, right? They get a copy of the agreement, they get the colors, they get, everything else that they need. And then they have a place to put their receipts if they go buy anything. And then at the end of the job, that's where they put the check, if it's a check, right? And then they give you the plastic folder, their painter version, back when they're done the job. And then you give them a new one when they start their next job. So then
Nice.
what you have is a binder called your production binder, and you have every single job that you have booked, and then you have every single job that you have complete. And then when you go back to do your job costing, or you need to go back to reference something from a previous job, it's all right there, it's all organized, and you just can't lose that binder.
Nice. That's great. Thank you.
So this was my one of my production binders, and basically what we had was all the different jobs in here. And so when we got a job, we would put it in a folder like this,
Okay.
and we'd have everything that we needed in it. So I had an envelope where we put all of our receipts. So you can just still see all these receipts in here. We'd have our go sheet. So I'd write one of these up for every single job, outlining exactly what was being painted and how many hours was attributed to each thing. So in this one, we had 7 hours of prep. We had 15 hours for siding for the first coat, and then 10 hours for the second coat. And then there was trim, and then there's a total at the bottom. So 73 hours. We would have the contract. So I'd have my version of the contract and the painter's version of the contract, as well as we had, so this one was a custom color. So we had our custom paint, custom formula for the paint on site, and then my estimate sheet. So when I did up the estimate, I would fill this out to figure out basically like all my numbers. So that was available for myself or the painters. And yeah, everything just went in 2 folders, one for me and one for the painter. And then after the job was finished, we put it all into just one back to me, one sleeve for the manager. And then I would be able to use that to complete all of my job costing and other financials at the end of it. The one other thing that I need to mention is that on the back of the client's, or sorry, on the back of the painter's side of the contract, we had their hours. So for this one, we had 4 painters, and each painter had 26.4 hours for the job. So we would just keep track of everybody's hours, when they clocked in, when they clocked out for every single day. That way, when I was adding up their hours for piece rate at the end of it, I would know what proportion to pay each painter. We'd have it tracked. I know there's a lot of apps these days that do that. There's Jobber. I just like to keep it old school. The system that worked for me might work for you, might not, but simple, nothing broke. And the best part of it is it didn't cost me anything. Didn't have to pay a subscription to keep it going. So yeah, that was it. Big ton of jobs in this binder, and hopefully that helps.